All right, so welcome to Money Love. Remember, the whole point of this entire exercise is to show you that if you love your money will love you back. I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for being part of this journey we've taken so far. We've talked about how to save better, how to invest better, how to handle your loans better, how to make your payments better, how to stay safe on the internet. Today, we're going to do, our first steps into managing or investing in the stock market. Now, obviously, you cannot learn everything you need to know about the stock market from one video. This is our step one. Before we go further, I have to introduce our partner, Frio. Frio is a brand new banking experience. It basically helps you understand your money better. So you can see where all of your money is going in terms of expenses and whether you want to change that. It helps you shop better. It gives you access to loans. I found it particularly helpful. Maybe you will too. That is Frio, our partner. Now, getting straight to the stock market, right? First question is, what is the stock market? For those of you who are completely uninitiated into the stock market, you would have heard Sensex or Nifty in the headlines at some point. You would say, you would come across a headline that said, oh, the Sensex has come down this much. People have lost crores and crores of rupees, or it's gone up this much, it's hit a new high. But what is the Sensex or the Nifty? So India fundamentally has two stock exchanges, which is the Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange. The Bombay Stock Exchange is older. The National Stock Exchange tends to be bigger in the number of transactions that it conducts. But these are effectively marketplaces where people buy and sell shares of companies, right? So imagine if you had, which actually does exist, imagine if you had a very large cloth market. In that one big place, all kinds of cloth was being bought and sold all day. And you took an average of the price of the cloth, of the different kinds of cloth. You made an average price. That will show you whether cloth became more expensive today or actually came down. That's what the index is. So the stock market has thousands of shares on it. Some big, some small, different kinds of companies that are listed. But there are some marquee big companies like Reliance or Infosys, these big companies. A bunch of them are taken together. 30 of them are taken for the Sensex, and you have the Sensex that gives you the index of whether the whole market has moved up or down. And then on the Nifty, you have 50 stocks that give you the Nifty 50 that tells you whether that market has moved up or down again. Now, both of these markets move in tandem. It's not like there's one day when the BSE does well and the NSE doesn't, because it's the same set of stocks that are listed on both of these indices. Well, if we need to take a step back from understanding the indices to ask what is a stock, then we should do that as well. Now, remember when we first talked about investments, and that's on this video, we talked about debt and equity investments, right? This is an equity investment. Imagine if you had started a company that effectively made pens, right? You would start with some of your own money. Then you would realize that you've got a couple of orders and you want to be able to increase the number of pens that you make in your company every day, for which you need money in order to buy more machines, get a larger space. So you have two choices. You could either borrow that money from someone, pay them interest, finish all your work and pay the loan back. Or you could sell a portion of your company and bring in an investor, a partner, who would give some money and become part owner of the company and would then participate in losses or gains. So two types of investments. Either you take a loan from someone, which is effectively debt, like your fixed deposit, or you sell a portion of your company. So on the other side, there are two types of investment for someone who's looking to get in. You can either give a loan to someone, which is what your fixed deposit is, or you give a loan, that's called debt investment, and then you get it back with interest. On the other hand, you buy a share of someone's company. Now you become part owner. Now, when the company becomes very, very big and you've already got the investors you need, but you still want to make it even bigger, you list it on the stock market and you allow all ordinary citizens to buy slices of your company. That becomes a public listed company, which means that the public now owns a portion of that company. So you're now accountable to them differently. The regulations are different for companies that are listed on the stock market, but effectively ordinary citizens can come and buy a slice of your company. That slice is called a share, and those shares are bought and sold on the stock market, and that is effectively how it works. So if you take a look at life around you, right, and all the things that you use in your life, you will notice that most of these companies are listed in the stock market. So for example, for the gentlemen who are watching, Gillette is a company that makes razors, and it makes grooming products. And as beards came into fashion, it started, and people started to shave less, they started to make beard grooming products. So Gillette is a company that has been growing based on how many razors they can sell, right, and how much men need to shave. So you can actually connect that with what you see around you and actually see that stock move up and down. The other company to look at that's interesting is TVS Motors, for example. TVS Motors makes two-wheelers. And the growth of two-wheelers is very interesting because it's linked to rural India. It's how the middle class gets its first vehicle. It's linked to a lot of prosperity in the country. And if you actually take a look at it, it has moved remarkably well since, say, 2012 or 2013, when it was at about 32 rupees. It's now at 661 rupees almost on that chart that you can see. That stock has moved really well. So if you actually look around you, you'll see a lot of companies that are linked to the way you do your way you live your life, and these are all companies that are listed. These are all companies that you can own a slice of if you're very impressed with them. But there are also lots and lots of companies that you don't come in contact with every day. Companies that make software, for example, companies that make infrastructure, companies that mine coal, companies that refine oil. There's so many different types of companies, and the interesting thing is it's very important to understand the business of that company before you start investing. It's like if a friend of yours came up to you and said, Actually, listen, I've started this business and I'm making this one particular product. It's really good. Can you give me 10,000 rupees and invest in this product, and I'll give you 10% of my company? You will say, hang on, wait, let me understand what this product is. How many people actually want to use it? Do I really think it's going to do well in the future? These are questions you want to ask when it comes to investing in a stock as well. So here's the question about risk versus return, right? A lot of people will say, no, the stock market is very risky and you shouldn't invest in it. So if you ask me, is the stock market risky? I will say risk is relative. It depends on what you're comparing it with. So if you compare it, for example, to a fixed deposit where you're giving money, but you know it's going to come back, it's going to come back with interest. So your return is guaranteed, your term is guaranteed, your principal is guaranteed. Then yes, it is more risky than a fixed deposit. But if you compare it to cryptocurrency, for example, I think it's less risky than cryptocurrency because our stock market is regulated. There's KYC that is done. These companies that are listed on the stock market have a responsibility to give you all the information accurately. So compared to cryptocurrency, less risky. Compared to fixed deposit, more risky. So risk tends to be relative. But in order to really understand the risk of the stock market, you have to look at the chart. Let's put up the chart of the BSE. Let's look at 1995 when the Sensex was at 3,500. It is now at 60,000, which means it's gone up 1,714 times. So this means that if you had put 10,000 rupees in, in the Sensex back in 1995, you would have at this point 1,71,40,000 at this point. So that brings us the question of why doesn't everybody do it? If it's that simple, why doesn't everybody just put money in the stock market and become very, very rich? Because it is not that simple. It also depends on what stocks you pick and where you do your investment, as in where you get in and where you get out, and how much homework you have done. Let me give you an example, right? And this is a favorite stock for people to look at. Infosys. Infosys has done remarkably well from the time, and everybody knows what Infosys does. If you look at it, now let's put up the lifetime chart of Infosys. You'll see it started at about 12 rupees, right? 11 rupees and 59 paise, I think that's where it started off. And it's gone from 12 rupees to 1,700 rupees in that lifetime. Roughly put, if you had put 10,000 rupees back then, you would have 14 lakh rupees today. Even if you had, for example, if we zoom in on the Infosys stock and just look at the last 1 year or so, from April last year, when it was at 580, when the market was doing badly because of all of the lockdowns, you will see to where it has moved today, where it's at 1,700. So if you had put 10,000 rupees even last year in April in Infosys, you would have 30,000 rupees today in a little over a year. Now that sounds great, but the trick is in being able to find that spot, when to get in and when to get out. And that really determines how much money you make. Also, a lot of people will argue that Infosys has done its big growing and it's now chugging along, because it used to be a small company, now it's a big company. The real money is to be made when you go from small to big. So then in that case, if you look for a smaller company, a mid-sized company, you look at the mid-cap stocks. If you look at an even smaller company, that is the small cap stocks. Now, that depends on their capitalization, but it also increases the risk because out of a whole bunch of companies, only one Infosys turns out to be that amazing, right? So a lot of times people will say, "Arey, मैंने stock market में पैसे डाला और इतना पैसा." Nobody will tell you about, "I lost on a bunch of stocks as well." So, Infosys is one among several companies. It's about picking the right company, getting in at the right point, getting out at the right point, and it's about all the homework that you do to invest in stocks. But if we look at the chart again of the BSE and of Infosys, specifically of the BSE, you will notice that if you pick your stock right, and if you get into the market right, there are dips and ups and dips and ups and dips and ups. But over the long term, our stock market has always done really well. So long term is if you take a 5-year window or a 6-year window. So two things to remember. If you look at that Sensex chart, right? If you look at 2008, you'll see there was a really horrid dip that happened because of the Lehman Brothers crash and because America was going through that recession that it was going through. But we came back because our market fundamentals were amazing. So because we have good companies in our market and because we have an economy that's constantly growing, our stock market will never become zero. It will come down, but it will always come back up again. So two things to remember. One, if you stay invested for the long term, you will make money on the stock market. Two, if you happen to see a dip in the stock market, all you need to do for it to cure that dip is give it time. And it has always, in the history of the stock market, recovered over time. So the next question to ask is, how much money can I expect to make in the stock market? If you're lucky, if you get it right, if you do your homework well, if you work really hard at it, unlimited amount of money. But for regular investors, an assumption that you will make about 18 to 20% return every year over 5 years is not unusual. It's actually a fair sort of assessment to make given how our economy grows. So compare that to what your fixed deposit gives you, 7.5%. 20% on stock market, but with the risk, with the extra homework, with the extra work. Now, some of the technicals that go into it, you need to have a specific account to invest in the stock market. These are called demat accounts because traditionally you would have brokers who would go and buy the shares for you. They're registered. You can't go there. You can't go into the stock market yourself. You need to be a licensed broker. Now, brokers used to actually be chaps who would go into a room and actually trade for you. They are now all online. So what you have to do effectively is open a demat account, give your KYC, which you have to give for everything. And once your KYC is done, you can actually buy a share, which the money comes out of your bank account. Then the share hits your account after 2 days. And if you get a good broker, they'll explain to you how all of this works. There are some transaction costs, there are some broker fees, some demat fees, and of course the taxes you have to pay. Now, the difference again in taxes between, say, a fixed deposit where you pay income tax on the interest you get on a fixed deposit. In the share market, you actually pay capital gains tax because when you buy something for 10 rupees and you sell it, if you're lucky, for 100 rupees, you've actually made 90 rupees of a capital gain. You have to pay tax on it. So if you sell that in less than 1 year and you make that money, you have to pay short-term capital gains tax, which means you're like the shrewd person who goes in and buys and sells. So you're making a lot of money, and so you pay short-term capital gains tax of 15%. If you hold on to it for more than a year and then you make a profit, it is tax-free unless your profit is more than 1 lakh rupees for that year, and in that case you pay 10% long-term capital gains tax. Now, the big question really that we have to answer is, how do I know what stock to buy? How do I know when to buy it? How do I know when to get out? Because at the end of the day, you and I are salaried professionals, or we're working people. This is not our daytime job. We actually have work to do during the day. You can't sit all day and just track stocks, right? And do research and visit factories to see how they're doing. So what do? In my opinion, again, this is my opinion. If you want to do stocks, you get a great stockbroker or a great financial advisor. You look at their track record, look at the kind of return they've been able to give their clients, and then take that decision. If that's also too complicated for you, use a mutual fund, which is the same thing as that I explained. There's a mutual fund video as well. Use a mutual fund where the fund manager then invests in the stock market and gives you those returns. There is an ETF or an exchange traded fund where the returns are marginally lower. The risk is also marginally lower. So basically what happens is, remember we talked about the Sensex. The Sensex has 30 stocks. what the ETF or the index fund does is just buys those 30 stocks. So whatever the Sensex does, your investment will also do. You're not actually picking cool stocks that nobody has seen before. The difference is that these are the big guys, the RILs, the Infosys, the big guys who are not going to go from this to boom because they've already done that, but you'll chug along quite nicely. So these are the different ways in which you can invest in the stock market. So remember, it is an interesting thing to do. It is a great way to make money. It is definitely something you should have in your portfolio, because if you just do fixed deposits, then you're just not going to make enough money over the long term, because between having to pay tax and inflation, it's just going to eat into all of your money and reduce the value of your money. You have to get into the stock market. So either you're a really shrewd person who wants to sit and do your own research, you want to sit and do all of your homework yourself and try and figure out the best way to do it. That might be a good thing to do. The second thing to do is to get a financial advisor who can help you, a stockbroker who can tell you what to buy and sell. And the third thing to do is to use a mutual fund or an ETF to invest in the stock market. Put your questions in the comment section and we will try and answer all of those questions for you. We can also, do this. Give me a green star if you want us to bring in an expert on the stock market who can help us understand this better and also who can answer some of the questions that you have. If you want that, put a green star in it and we will do that in the next episode as well. All right, so we're going to leave you here. I'm going to leave you here. Remember, quick call out to our partners, Frio as well. Go check out Frio. It's a brand new banking experience and I'm sure you'll find it interesting. I'm going to wrap this up here. Remember, happy Diwali, guys. Diwali is a good time to get started though if you're going to invest in the stock market. Might want to do some Muhurat trading. That also happens incidentally. There's some trading that happens. It's sort of a token trading that happens in the stock market during the Muhurat time at Diwali. Check that out as well. But remember, if you love your money, it will love you back. Leave us some comments. I love to hear from you. Thank you so much.